I'm doing 1.3 million in turnover per year and using mostly OA and 10% wholesale. A marketplace I'm selling on is Germany. I'm selling there for 4 years. The one thing is that it's the second biggest Amazon marketplace in the world. It's quite impressive. And the second thing is that the European marketplace is extremely easy to access via the German one. So you can sell with few clicks on the whole European marketplaces like Spain, Italy, France, and so on. So this is quite unique and very helpful.
What advice, what feedback would you give them? Like what tips and tricks would you say, like this is things that you need to consider?
I mean, for me, the most important thing always is to have like the foundation right. Because when you are not clear with the foundation, meaning especially tax-wise, right? Because this is your base. And then obviously all the other things which you have to consider on each country, meaning that you are in accordance with the lay. I mean, many people, they think it's easy, but at the end, there are like some problems you can create yourself, which you can avoid when you know how to do it in a certain country. So for me, I would spend the time needed to create this space by asking people who are selling there already to do, let's say, they're a little bit, invest time in it. And then the rest is really copy paste from the online arbitrage blueprint you're already using in your country, right? It will be different from the coupons. It will be different from the type of shops you have to use. But these are things your VAs or yourself can learn very easy. Then the foundation is correct and you're like good at this. I think it's quite easy. It's just a question how to get there and how much knowledge you have to create or purchase, let's say, in order to start there with a good foundation. To be honest, in France, it's even worse. Like apparently, like when you create their company, it can be even worse. Like in European Union in general, they are very specific on creating like a company. You have to be proper in all of them, like not only in Germany. So I think even Germany is maybe an easier way to start than in France, Italy or Spain, because let's say what I have seen from the VAT register process, that was Germany one of the easier ones. And the other one, they took much longer.
You talked about creating companies. So obviously I understand a little bit. In the US, we have LLCs. In the UK, we have limited companies. In Germany, you have GmbH. Is that right? And then you have micro GmbH. Can you tell me about those two? What's the difference? And do we need one?
When you are German-based, we normally recommend to do it as a sole property. So your person is the company, right? It's the easiest start. But then at one moment, you have to switch to different company form. And then, like you mentioned, you have the GmbH, which is the limited, the LLC version, I think. I'm not sure in the US. And then you have the UG, which is kind of the micro GmbH. I would recommend everybody to directly start with the GmbH. The main difference is you have to put into the company 25K. You don't have to keep it there. It can work and you can purchase goods for it, but you have to prove that you inputted 25K. And on the UG side, so on the micro GmbH side, you can start saving it up until you reach it and then you make the switch. But the only difference is that it's a lot of paperwork again, and the advantage is zero. It's a disadvantage because when you go wholesale, they see a UG, a micro GmbH, they are like, they not even have enough, 25K to make a GmbH. So at the end, when you have the money and the capital started directly with GmbH, if you have the possibility as a sole property, which is in theory only possible when you're living in Germany, then this is the easiest way by far to start.
Are you struggling to scale your Amazon FBA business? Well, join the Amazon FBA War Room, which is a community that I've created whereby you can ask questions on our live calls, get free weekly training, and join a community of like-minded sellers. Get a free 7-day trial by checking out the link down in the description below. And then the final one I'd like to ask about is credit, access to capital. When we talk about USA, I always say to people, ideally $10,000, if not 30, because getting access to credit is like nigh on impossible for the first few years. We talked off air, you got people doing like hundreds of thousands in credit. Is it easy, hard? And obviously you run a community, so I'm guessing there's people in there who might not be German nationals. Tell me a bit about that.
Yeah. Like the access to money, I would say it's quite good, but in a way you need a history, right? So when you are a US seller, it will be much more difficult because obviously a bank wants to have in any way accessible data. In the European Union, it's quite easy. You have certain agencies which collect kind of those information and share them in between. But in general, the access to money is quite good. So there are a lot of e-commerce financiers now which understand Amazon and makes it very easy to get access to also bigger loans. They look at your selling history, maybe, when you're selling in Spain or the UK, they connect to your account, they see what you're selling and then give you within a few days an offer. Obviously, the interest rate will be very high, but in comparison with what amount of money you can make with it, right? We both know the margins and the turnover, it's still a good business. On the other hand, you have the Amex, right? The Amex business is like the starter, like boost everybody is using. And there you get also quite fast, big credit lines. But like I said, it depends a little bit on your background. But my recommendation would Amex business for sure. If you get one, it's the easiest way to get like a first small boost. And then maybe you go to a normal bank, which I feel like they give you much better conditions. But obviously you need a certain security. So there are a lot of ways you can get to it. And maybe one thing I wanted to mention is there are also a lot of subsidies from the government in a way where when you create a company, that they would give you ridiculous low interest rates for huge credits. It's not that easy to get it, but when you're in there, it's like a dream for invest, let's say for creating a company, because it's the cheapest money you can get. Let's say the government is helping you to get it because they want you to create companies. But on the downside, the paperwork you have to do is also insanely high. It's all in German. So, on this side, maybe not the best choice for people who are not speaking German.
So I know you run a community. Tell me about that.
Because when we started, I mentioned it already, in Germany, there was no online arbitrage community at all. So all the information came from the UK, US. And obviously German is Germany, different language, different mentality, and also tax-wise very different. So we started to create a community we call this Happy Arbitrage. And we are growing now since then enormously because obviously the business model got more famous. And let's say we are on YouTube a little bit and have a Discord community. This is at the moment the way we communicate the easiest with our community because it's much more interactive than Facebook, for example. But still we have Facebook, Discord. So when somebody is interested, it's mostly in German, but obviously we can create some English groups when there are people who would be interested in. And in general, we are trying to give out as many informations for free as possible in order to lift the community, right? Because I feel like it's a giving and taking. And the idea was to support people who want to start in Europe or especially in Germany. So if there's some need in any way, they are very happy to join and to ask and to see if it's the right fit for them, Germany or not.
Philip, I just like to say thank you so much for sharing everything and that you've done.
Thank you, Thomas. It was really nice having me.
Take care.